All right. We all either need to take a nap now after that chill little vibe. I don't know what. Normally we start with me chatting and filling empty space, but all right, cut the music. Thank you. We needed like a soft fade out. Well, it is 1:30 on the dot. And as always, we are just really grateful to come here in person and virtually connect with you all on our What's Up Wednesday. And it is time to bloom. I moved all my little flowers that are usually facing me out my window here in my home office so that you can enjoy a little blossom today, as we hope today's content will continue to inspire your thoughts around creative, innovative programs that you are super proud of providing. And so I want to start just with a little personal story. Many of you know me, and it's so nice to see Mr. Phil Herman on this call. I'm honored to be a part of this profession and have been for decades now, which makes me feel very old. Spoiler alert, I feel super old as Hannah is graduating college. For those of you who know me way back when I'd say I was the mom of a second grader when she was, in second grade, and now she's graduating. So a proud mama moment yesterday. She sent me this video. She's completing a degree in public health, and she chose an internship in ComCore group in Athens, Ohio, and has been working on the program called Sprouts down in Logan County in really Appalachia, rural schools. And what she's been able to do is, now if I told her to do this, she wouldn't have wanted to do it. But what she's been able to do is work with elementary age students about school garden programs and doing things like try days and tastes and knife skills. And just, she comes back with all these funny stories. So one of her classes yesterday, she sent me this YouTube link, and it's a TED Talk. And I'm just going to give you a quick snippet of what it's about. And then later on, we'll share it in the resources. What it really talks about is no matter what you're up against, you can start from a choice of gratitude. And I know you all have been along this journey with Pasonic Partners through the pandemic and now endemic. And last week was a blow to some of our happiness and our joy as we come on to bring you innovative ideas. We all know that our waivers are expired, and we're looking down, what does next year bring for us? Like, what is our new normal going to be? And so we want to focus on the choice that we have, which is the opportunity to remember when. And before, I used to always joke, we'd always say, remember when we used to be able to fry things, or remember when we'd be able to give the full fat Otis Spunkmeyer cookies and not the reduced fat whole grain ones. I mean, Hudson used to, when I was there, I was part of every graduation speech about, go through all the times, the Let's Move campaign, and we're starving because our portions are small and we have to eat all these vegetables, you name it. But the goal of talking about that a little bit as we introduce today's What's Up Wednesday is that we all live through that, and we're here, and people like me and Pasonic Partners Schools, we're all here because we choose to remember why we do what we do. And that is wholesome meals to fuel healthy lives. Simply put, we've said this: hungry kids cannot learn. And we are just as imperative as the teachers, the curriculum, the technology, the books. And today, I hope through the course of what we talk about, which is how we are celebrating that, and what we can still do to innovate despite adversity. And then, let's wrap it up with just guests that have also devoted their career, including, Mr. Phil Herman and the Impact Group, on ways to really tell our story and elevate the awareness and the positive communications we want out in our communities about what we're going to do, even if it means they have to fill out a free and reduced application again, right? There's a way to choose joy, to choose gratitude, and to really choose the opportunity to serve. And so if you're on this journey with Pasonic Partners, it's because you're on that journey, and we're going to help you be successful in that. So today, we're going to talk about some fun stuff. We always kind of line it up so that you can see what's going to happen. We're going to talk about the first and foremost, menu matters and inspiration. It's not nutrition unless they swallow it. So we have to get our game back in order in terms of making recipes and scratch cooking, just innovation that really, if they have to pay for it, this year it was, if you can't give it away for free, what's the problem? Next year, it's going to be, you have a captive consumer, and you have to really get that participation where you want it to be. It takes a village. So we are going to have our industry insights. And again, we kind of had a spoiler alert. We have the Impact Group with some of their messaging and supports that they've done in local nutrition programs to help us tell our story. We are going to have updates. We're not going to belabor the reality of the administration and what is happening with some of the checking the box items we have to do for our programs. And then at the end, we're going to end up in a kind of a different way than we have in the past. One of my ways is this multimedia way of engaging you all to create opportunities for inspiration. And so we're going to do a mini podcast live at the end of this, which is, kind of my goal is to revisit some community and conversations that if you're a podcast listener, you can pop on your way to work, on your way home to work, whenever is good for you, maybe on your walk, on your treadmill, just to gain some industry inspiration and really community, a sense of community that it does take a village to make these programs really impact the way we want them to. So with that being said, we're going to bloom right into this today's episodes. And so the next slide is going to talk just a little bit about, the practicing what we preach moments. Pasonic Partners had originally started as a consulting group that really focused heavily on the smarter lunchroom theory. And so the easiest way, and this is not a pretty slide, but the next slide is just some roundup ideas of what we started, the remember when. So bringing back that build your concept, that BAR concept. This time, we've been continuing to work on our supply chain gaps. We have found more successful, less frustrated program operators that are really bringing back that versatility. Not to mention that made to order, semi-speed scratch, making ingredients versus always relying on buying the ingredients ready to serve. We're trying to really inspire all of you to kind of think through time management, mise en place, back of the house, right? So if you're spending time filling computer orders on the next best processed item to get in because there's an out of stock, how about reinvesting the time and really thinking about what is out there that we can do to bring that smarter lunchroom bar concept back to schools? We know we called it the Chipotleization of society back when we started to do that, but a good pasta bar, a good kind of Chipotle knockoff bar, a burger bar, those are what our savvy little consumers want. And we're even going to show you a little spoiler alert. I was in Hudson City Schools and they were doing it for third graders, guys. So, there's an opportunity even at some of our younger grades to bring back some of these choice elements, which really is going to end with the beginning in mind, really inspiring people as we think to a school like a Hudson that will next year likely have to go back to paid meals. How are we going to show our value and show our best hand and our best effort, ending with the beginning in mind? Here's a little sneak. We don't think of all of this. I always say there's not a dartboard in my menu writing office. Well, there's really not a crystal ball either, but there is some really relevant trends. So we laugh and we look at things like what kids are putting on TikTok and Instagram, and some of it's not so good. Some of it's really fun and good. And one of the things that we just tried, and we'll talk a little bit about this, is the deconstructed Big Mac bowl, right? Maybe we can't call it Big Mac, that might be trademarked, but a burger bowl. And this we just tried in one of our school districts, and it was a rave hit. So not only going back to the old bar concepts, but looking to what's happening right now in fast casual restaurants and or in social media, that we can steal this idea and really bring some of these trends alive in our cafeteria spaces. And remember, there's always room in that the whole nutritional analysis for that special or secret sauce. So, again, we want to think about ways of innovating our own program to be proud of what we're serving and to really customize it. So what better time than in National Nutrition Month to focus on all things like kicking it up a notch and celebrating ourselves. But I love this time of year, and I also want us to learn from it. So we just finished National Breakfast Week, which we're going to have some caught doing something good moments. This is National CACFP Week. We're going to talk about that. In my opinion, maybe it's my own career choice, every month should be National Nutrition Month, right? So let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. We've heard this for people that are like really thinking through nutrition as, we just came out of some crazy, wacky times, right? So what can I do to be the best version of myself, keep my immunity up, keep my health up, keep my energy up, keep my brain power up? We've heard from schools very successfully doing their National Nutrition Month breakfast week and saying, gosh, we've had more participation. The kids were really excited. My ask, my plea is don't just make it 1 week out of the year, guys. It's a way to boost and amplify the energy that you create during these special months like National Nutrition Month to really take the next level forward and really think about crafting a cycle and crafting a plan for success as we think about school year 22-23, even now as we think about ending this school year. So with that being said, it takes a village. So I'm going to zip it a little bit here because we have our resident expert, Healthy Meal Planner Pro expert, which is Marge. So I'm going to let her talk through a little bit of the ways our software with Healthy Meal Planner Pro can really be turnkey and helpful for you as you think forward out of National Nutrition Month to make celebrations happen throughout the year. Thanks, Marge.
Hello, everybody, and happy National Nutrition Month. So as always, we like to provide some recipe inspiration and maybe some new menu items for you to try to really promote your program. So looking ahead to next month, which is April already, on April 7th, we have National Burrito Day. So of course, we all have our traditional burrito bars, but how you can maybe use that as an opportunity to try something new. So we have a Tex-Mex chicken burrito salad featuring all those, Mexican flavors, but in a salad form. The second one there is a vegetarian option. So that's always nice to have. And if you haven't had sweet potatoes and black beans, I always say it goes together like peanut butter and jelly. A great option there is a vegetarian burrito. And then on the bottom there is a Fritos burrito. So similar burrito concept, but adding some Fritos in there for some crunch, something we found kids have really liked. And then we also have in April, National Grilled Cheese Day. So, a comfort classic grilled cheese. Again, how can you make grilled cheese and twist it up a little bit? Try one of these with the classic grilled cheese just to try it out. And you might find that there's a new favorite menu item. So the first one is more like a caprese or a Tuscan grilled cheese that has some spinach and tomato with mozzarella cheese. One of my kids' favorite is putting pepperoni on a grilled cheese, making that a simple twist on a grilled cheese. And then the bottom one there is a nacho grilled cheese that uses Monterey Jack cheese and adds a little bit of jalapeno. All really easy to do. Then we have National Peach Cobbler Day on April 13th. So who doesn't love a good peach cobbler? And the first recipe there, the peachy keen cinnamon rolls, again, could not get much easier than with 3 simple ingredients using prepared freezer to oven rolls with some canned peaches and cinnamon. The bottom one there, the peach crisp, doesn't get much more difficult. I think that has all of 5 ingredients, but has more of an oat and brown sugar topping on it. So those I'm sure would be something that kids would love to see on the menu. May 16th, National Barbecue Day. And of course, we can always do, barbecue chicken, baked beans, things like that. But again, sometimes trying something new, you don't have to make as much of it. And when you pair that with a favorite, then it provides an opportunity for you to try something new out on the menu. So why not taking a quesadilla that's a classic favorite and adding a barbecue twist to that? On the bottom, we have a flatbread kind of pizza concept, but with chicken and barbecue sauce. Then also coming up is National Juice Slush Day. I think there's a holiday for everything. So on May 18th, we were notified through Holly McGarry that Cool Tropics is offering a promotional items. So you can go to the Cool Tropics website and they have free stickers, flyers, posters that you can use to promote National Juice Slush Day with their products. We have the GFS codes there. I know these have been really popular with kids. So why not make it a promotional day? And then if you want to kick it up a notch, a sneak peek ahead to our cookbook that our 2nd edition will be coming out maybe next month, hint. So why not make a slush? And this called Helado de Potasio is a Dominican version of, I think that translates into some ice cream, frozen ice cream. So it's real simple with mango that kind of gives it that Caribbean Dominican flavor with a little bit of vanilla and strawberries pureed together to make a slushie. That's, again, really easy to make. And I alluded to our cookbook. If you don't have our current edition to our cookbook, of course, you can always, we'll drop the link that you can request that into the chat. And we are busy working on our next edition with some new recipes that we're really excited about. So tune in next month because I think we'll be launching that. And of course, we're always here to help. So if you see any of those recipes that you'd like to try, using our support ticket system at our support@ppllc.info, just let us know the name of the recipe that you like. If you're one of our schools, we can share that with you through Healthy Meal Planner Pro. If you're not one of our partner schools directly, we're always happy to share those recipes with you. Again, just go this route using our support ticket system and let us know what recipes you would like. Yay, so now I get to move on to something near and dear to my heart. National CACFP Week is this week. We're in the middle of it. So some of you may not be as familiar with CACFP as you are with NSLP. So amongst all the acronyms that we use, the Child and Adult Care Food Program is another USDA food program that helps feed children and adults. So we have partners that we are happy to work with who have been doing great things, and particularly in the child care centers utilizing the CACFP. So we wanted to take this time to highlight some of the great things that they're doing. And you may even want to, even if you don't have preschool or don't utilize CACFP, as I always say, Maureen says, kind of stealing this idea is always good to think about how you might be able to use this in your programs, and just paying, kudos to all the good work that our CACFP partners are doing. So one of the things we've had great success with, and I know sometimes schools will do tri-days, with our littlest kids, of course, we're really trying to introduce new foods, maybe foods that they're not familiar with, develop, an interest in trying new foods, making it fun, so that when kids come to kindergarten, they're used to trying new things, seeing new things. And so this is from one of our Head Start centers where we do routine tri-days. And what we've done is trying to introduce foods to kids in a variety of non-threatening ways. So when kids come into school in the morning, whatever item we might pick as a tri-day, you'll see here on the right, we did butternut squash, or we might do beans. We've done quinoa, barley, grapefruit, you name it. We've done a lot of them because it's a big hit to do. But when kids come in school in the morning, they can try the food with their parent and taste the food. They can also then get the food during the week as a snack or as part of a meal to try the food. And then they also have the opportunity where the food is sent to the classroom and they can explore the food, not even taste it, but just touch it, feel it, see it, learn about it. Some of the other positive things that they've done is the green eggs and ham. This was just last week. Our staff working hard to make green eggs with spinach. So a nice twist on that. And you see the cute little boy there giving a thumbs up. A great resource I would share, and again, you can steal this for some of your youngest eaters, is through the CACFP week, these videos have been shared. And who doesn't love a good video with some Sesame Street characters in it? So they have a great video on trying new foods and another video on the most important meal of the day that talks about breakfast. So I highly recommend you look at those and share them with any of your, maybe if you have kindergarten teachers, preschool teachers, they're just fun to watch and a great resource. Something we're getting very excited to launch that I think will be awesome is we're always trying to connect what we do in the classroom with parents at home too. So we want to introduce new foods to children, but then we would like parents to also maybe try new foods at home. So through our Head Start partners in Lorain County, we are going to be starting this out of the box cooking series where parents will actually receive a box of ingredients. And we will be doing a cooking demo via Zoom with those ingredients so that then they are able to take those ingredients, watch the Zoom, learn some cooking skills, some nutrition information as they're watching the Zoom, and they have all the ingredients that they can prepare that meal then. So we're really excited about starting that. So I talked about how some of our younger kids have participated in CACFP and the success of those programs. Some of the rest of our team has gone across the nation to work with CACFP partners. So I think I will pass to Maureen to talk a little bit more about what they've done out in San Diego.
Thank you so much, Marge. First of all, I think foundational nutrition is what made me fall in love with school nutrition, making the cafeteria an extension of the classroom and really embracing the role we have in being educators. From the time a student's little toe gets on a bus to the time they go home, we get that brain and we get to nourish it. So thank you, Marge. And thank you, Becky Rodriguez, for joining us today. I see you as an attendee. We always see you out there working it for those children you really are so passionate about serving as well. So a true Pasonic partner, and it's been some years now that we've been doing this together. So truly an innovator in thinking not about the obstacles or the limitations, about COVID silver linings. Let's face it, out of the box came out of us wanting to still reach and get into that education space without letting being at a distance separate us. And so we are really proud of Becky and her team and their willingness to always be an innovator in getting good information into the hands of the families that most need it in Lorain County and really being a model in our state. So thank you again. Hey, having a job in San Diego is not a bad thing. And so we were super pumped. Another silver lining, I think we talked about before. Most of you know that the child, adult, and the community feeding program is being utilized across the nation. And so certainly our partners at Feeding San Diego are one of our other sites where we are helping plan that menu, making sure that they are getting some unique opportunities, but also learning. The West Coast, let's face it, they have lots of fun trends. And so we were able to visit top-notch catering and see a large catering facility, and how regardless of the amount of meals, they are still really committed to harvest and farm to school, as well as scratch cooking. And so a student of life I am. And so part of this is a learning experience as Pasonic reaches into food bank and Feeding San Diego being our first food bank and CACFP provider across the nation. So we thank them today as always. But we have some exciting stuff, and I want to hand this over because I see a smiling face that I'm very familiar with. And so very happy and honored and humbled that he is here with us today. So without further ado, you all have seen some of our caught doing something good. And, this team at Impact Group has really, through the pandemic and now, just really inspired us to really think about ways that we were our own best kept secrets within a school district. And how do we crack that nut and share with our community? So Phil, it's so nice to see you, sir.
It is great to see you too, Maureen. So this is an honor for me to be here too. Maureen, it's so fun to see how these career paths cross again. For those of you that don't know, I've been in education for the past 25 years, 11 of those as superintendent, and most recently as superintendent of Hudson City Schools. Maureen and I had a chance to work together when she was supervisor of food services in Hudson. I was so proud of her then in terms of what she accomplished in Hudson and everything that I learned from her in my experience in working with her, and then was so proud when she launched Pasonic Partners and the impact that she is having on school districts all over certainly the state and beyond. And so I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here today. I'm also really grateful for all of you. There are a lot of bad things that came out of the pandemic, but there were some good realizations that came out of the pandemic as well. And one of the realizations was for our communities and for our staff to see truly how essential our food services are for all of our students in our school districts. And that was demonstrated at the beginning of the pandemic. So it was just glaring, so obvious during the beginning of the pandemic. And we also learned that we have some of our most creative problem solvers in our school districts, in our kitchens. And we got to see that over and over again demonstrated throughout the pandemic as well. And so I'm grateful for the work that you do every day in serving our students. I want Lauren to introduce herself. She's with me on the call today, and then we're going to jump into our topics.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. And Maureen, thank you so much for having us. We are very grateful to be a part of this call. Thank you. My name is Lauren Shear. I'm the manager of new business development here at the Impact Group. I have 20 years of experience in different sales arenas, television, radio, educational sales, and I'm just so blessed to be a part of the Impact Group. It's a phenomenal group of people, so I'm having a lot of fun.
And I just want to be clear, Maureen, we have 15 minutes, right? Approximately?
Yeah, approximately. But you know what you have to say is so important to us. You take it away, sir, and we'll fill in.
Okay, we are going to jump in. Well, since I have an extra minute, first of all, Marge, thank you. I had no idea there was a National Grilled Cheese Day, and I was excited about that. And then they only got better after that when you started talking about peach cobbler and barbecue and juice. What is it? Juice slush day? Are you kidding me? They're awesome, and you made me hungry. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of building a culture of appreciation, examining to what extent do those that you serve understand the value of the service that you provide. And then lastly, what are some ways that we can use communication tools to help us build a culture of appreciation and to help your parents and your staff and your community understand the value of the meals that you provide to students? So we're going to talk about all three of those things, but we always, I'd love to see that Maureen started with the importance of gratitude because that is what so much of communication is about. And really in terms of, that's what so much about serving others is about. And so I want to start by talking about a culture of appreciation. So we know that organizations that are intentional about creating a culture of appreciation thrive. Those organizations that are intentional about creating a culture of appreciation thrive. And we know that those that aren't do not thrive. And so let's think about why that might be. Does everyone have the ability to unmute on here if they want to shout something out? Can they talk?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's think about why that may be just real quick, and you can just unmute yourself and just yell it out. But how do you feel when someone expresses appreciation to you? I was a teacher. I have great wait time.
I will say, caught doing something. Oh, Harry, you go. Go, Harry, go.
I was going to say warm and tingly.
Warm and tingly. How do you feel when someone expresses appreciation to you?
Makes me, I'll say some. It makes me feel like I want to do more.
Yeah, makes you feel like you want to do more. Warm and tingly. What else?
Appreciated.
Appreciated.
Valued.
Valued.
It gives a sense of pride of what they're grateful for.
Yeah, It gives us pride in what we just did that they were grateful for. Anything else? They make us feel great. They make us feel great inside for all the reasons you just articulated. When someone expresses appreciation to us, we feel fantastic inside, yet sometimes we hold back from expressing that appreciation to others. But we know that when we express appreciation and when we're deliberate about it within an organization, it leads to employee retention. It leads to increased employee performance in terms of how we do our jobs, and it really it results in customer satisfaction. We know that to be a fact in organizations that are deliberate about expressing appreciation. And so in any organization, the people that are doing the work are our brand. And so if you feel great in your role and you enable others around you to feel great about what they are doing and when they interact with you, what type of effect do we think that that has on the students that we serve? We know that that has a positive effect on our students and their choices to utilize our schools, or ultimately utilize, in this case, our food service and our kitchens. And so there are some practical ways to demonstrate appreciation. First of all, I'm just going to rattle down a few of these, and we can have whole sessions on all of these topics. So I'm just going to quickly go through them. But we know that we need to understand the power of being liked. And I don't mean that we exist to be liked, but it is extremely powerful when think of those people that expressed appreciation to you. You like them, and what would you do for them? In most cases, you'd run through a brick wall for them because they acknowledged who you are, what you do, and made you have those feelings. And so you ended up liking them. And so when we are liked by others because we express sincere interest in them and sincere appreciation, we know that they are more likely to come back and see us. We know that they're more likely to engage with us. We know that they're more likely to work hard alongside of us when we do that. So understand that there's extreme power in being liked. And so there are ways that we can express or build this culture of appreciation. First of all, learn names. So learn the names. If you don't know the names of your coworkers, if you don't know the names of your staff, we need to be deliberate about learning their names. And then we have an incredible opportunity in the kitchens. Many of you know students by name, particularly those students that come in each and every day. And if you can utilize their name, they are so much more likely to come back and see you because they feel appreciated and they feel known. And if you are one of those people who are saying, I'm not good at names, I want you to add one word on the end of that. I'm not good at names yet. We can all create strategies and we can all be deliberate about learning other individuals' names, learning people's names. And so if you feel like you're not good at it, just say, I'm not good at it yet, and then work on trying to learn those names of the people that are around you. Become interested in others. So once you learn someone's name, do you have any idea what they are passionate about, what they're interested in, what's something that resonates with them, and try to make it about them. Try to learn something about those individuals that you're serving every day and that you're working alongside with each day. Catch people doing something right. I heard it on here multiple times already. That is one way that we build a culture of appreciation. And we have opportunities to do that within our kitchens each and every day, but we also have the opportunity to do that with the students that we're interacting with. We can thank them for we can thank them for saying thank you to us. We can thank them for the way that they treated a student next to them. We can thank them for wiping up the spilled milk. There are opportunities to catch individuals doing something right. And some of us have this attitude that, well, I'm not going to thank them for that. That's just the way it's supposed to be. That's the way students are supposed to behave. That's the way my coworkers are supposed to do their job. But again, go back to how does that make us feel when someone recognizes what we did? It makes us feel appreciated, and we have the ability to spread that to others around us. And lastly, have fun. The fact of the matter is, food can be incredibly fun. It is something to be enjoyed. I love the fact that we're thinking about these celebration days, these national celebration days. We're thinking about the ways that we can utilize food to celebrate events. And so we can have fun within our work. We can have creative, fun environment within our kitchens, and we can have fun certainly with students who are coming through our cafeterias and kitchens. And so there are ways to build a culture of appreciation while also enhancing the value of the service that we provide to our students. And Lauren's going to talk with you just briefly about your perspectives on, do your communities understand the value of the service that you provide? Lauren?
Yeah, thank you, Phil. I appreciate it. Maureen, I think you've got a survey that we're ready to launch. Is that something you could put up on the screen and hope it's an interactive tool? Let's hope technology works for us today.
So I am not in charge of the screen today, but I think what we're going to do in this responsive time is go through the question, and unless David, you're ready to launch that.
Excellent. Oh, perfect.
There
Okay,
it
thank
is.
you.
Hey.
Yay. Well, that might not be our poll, but I like the question. Our question was on a scale of 1 to 5. To what extent do you think parents understand the value of what you provide? So a little bit different question. Maybe.
If participants want to put it in the chat, I can check the chat.
Cool.
I love it. It takes a village, right?
Yeah, you know what? I can put the question in the chat. That will just take a moment.
Perfect.
I can go on a limb and speak for the underdogs that I hear and cheerlead on a day-to-day basis. I think many of our teams feel like the afterthought sometimes. And I really appreciate that you guys are elevating that awareness and helping support schools. I see on the screen pictures from Talmadge City Schools and of course Woodridge City Schools. And you're right, we do holler loud and proud our caught doing something good moments all the time, Phil. And that is something we try to do as champions in this village that we call child nutrition and support of one another. And so really do love that idea of, really elevating. When one wins, we all win, right? When the story gets out about the importance and the value, I think that can be amplified and shared. We aren't competitive restaurants. We say that a lot in school food service. So a win is a win to gain more information and positive communication relative to school meals program throughout our region. So you've got some answers coming in.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you. Go ahead, Phil.
So I'm looking at these in terms of to what extent you think that parents understand the value of what you provide. I'm looking, we see some 5s, 3, 2.5 overall, but we have lots of 1s and 5s. 4, 3, 3.5, 4, 1, 4, 3.5, 3. So fantastic. So there's a broad range there, and we have some that really feel like they are absolutely understood in terms of the parents understanding the value, and others feeling like they really don't understand it all, and a lot of in the middle of the pack. And so how do we retain that where we have that appreciation already, and how do we promote that where there's an understanding of the value, where there's an appreciation of the value that we provide as schools. And so the Impact Group is a communications firm. And so we're going to spend a few minutes exploring a couple of the tools that can help you tell your story, build that culture of appreciation that we're talking about that's so essential to a high functioning organization, and enhance your community's understanding of the values or the services that you provide. And so we're going to really look at just a few digital communication tools. Right now today, I want you to think about how you engage online, and where you get information. And what you might notice is video is king. Right now, video is by far one of the most prevalent ways of spreading information. Is the information that people are choosing to engage with. So when I say video is king, it's what individuals on their social media platforms and when they get online are engaging with. They're spending more time looking at videos than they spend looking at other content. And so we're going to look at one particular video that was created for Woodridge Food Service. So we're going to go ahead and play that now.
I'll never forget this. At March one day, and these two girls come running up to me. This is high school kids. And gave me a big hug, and they say, "This is our lunch lady." Eating food and gathering, it's what makes family and friendship.
when the pandemic hit, the community absolutely came together. It was super scary. Everybody was nervous. We didn't know what to expect. But as a food service department, we are like family. So we just made a plan, and we were a team, and everyone helped. The teachers, the board office, bus drivers, custodians, everyone was involved.
Everybody played a part. Everybody here, you take care of this, you take care of that. And we were able to get a list out there that from the IT to the superintendent, everybody was involved in getting these meals to the kids. So in March, we were very blessed. From March till the end of the school year in June, we were able to do remote feeding. Each feeding, which was 5 breakfast, 5 lunch, so you're talking 10 meals in one bag, and times 600 students, that's a lot of food to prepare in 1 week's time.
Kids love it. They love the food. They're excited about the food. I like to teach them about nutrition. Like I tell them, take the broccoli. It's good for your bones. It's full of calcium. And they're excited about the food. And I'm very careful that I don't overcook things and make it like if I would eat it. If I wouldn't eat it, it goes in the trash.
Every day we pack 1 or 2 things for the lunch that week. And everybody, just kind of has their job, and we know what we're doing, so it works out really good.
So the girls would come in, they'd pack all the bags, and we would do a 5-day bag for these students, and we would have parents come in, pick them up on the set day, and we even delivered them. We had maintenance, we had the treasurer, we had everybody, staff, teachers that didn't even have to be here, volunteered to come in and help us deliver these meals.
I drive school bus too, and I have it written in my be the person you needed as a child. So that's why I'm here, selling cookies and trying to plant seeds of kindness for them.
I like to feed kids. I just really do. I think it's wonderful that they come in. They're excited, even on the school bus. They want to know, they're talking to their bus drivers, what's for lunch today? So my one bus driver friend, she tells them, and they talk about what's for lunch, And I think it's exciting. And they love it. They get excited to come in.
It's a joy to get up and have this kind of job that I know that I'm coming and doing something that makes a difference.
I love that. I love that video. I still love that video. Phil and Lauren, I could let you guys go on and on. It is just so refreshing to hear people care about what we do, and giving people a platform to share that is just phenomenal. So from our Pasonic family to yours, anything we can do to connect you to our group of professionals. And certainly, I think the conversation just started today. I think we could have given you the entire length of this webinar to give more details, but any closing thoughts that you can share with our group, because we do want to, we have a really fun surprise next guest. Stay on, because he's awesome too. But we packed this program full today.
We will. Just that, Maureen, so people might look at that and say, oh my gosh, we can't create a video like that. And of course, we'd love to help with that if anyone wanted to do that. But if you're thinking, no, that's not an option for us, understand that the same thing can be accomplished via social media with really short, concise, positive posts about what you're doing on a daily basis. You have an incredible story to tell. Let the people in your organization tell it and highlight what you're doing. Just remember to be positive, and in all circumstances, wherever you're using social media, tell your positive story, not a place to tell a negative story. And we would come back anytime and talk more about that as well. So thank you for having us.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Again, we appreciate you so much. Thank you for your time. So I think David is going to help me hop over to what is going to be a new feature, we hope, but this is certainly going to be the first one. So if you didn't know, we did do some podcasting, and that project is kind of opening up again. So Phil, I think I'm going to call you and want to interview you just to talk more about this. It just popped into my head as an inspiration, but I'm going to take down the slides and ask Marlon to join me on the camera here. So we are going to do a little live session. So Mr. Marlon, if you can open up and put your screen on. I'd love.
I think we should be good.
Hey,
hey, what's up?
Look What's up, my friends? Oh my God. And he's live from New York. I mean, you are like, where's Waldo? I don't know where to find you, but you know what? I am certainly very glad to have you on, sir. Your time is precious. We want to open the floor to you. This is going to go out to our membership, and it's also on Facebook Live right now. So hey, from New York City. Yeah, exactly. So tell it, for those people, I don't know who doesn't know you, but for those who don't, just give us a little introduction to, who you are and your current role within child nutrition.
Yeah, so my name is Marlon Gordon. I am CEO and co-founder of NextGen Network. My beautiful, intelligent business partner, Amanda, is on with us right now, I think watching me to make sure I don't say anything that I shouldn't be saying, which always happens when I get in front of a microphone. But yeah, so we're passionate about telling stories in child nutrition. We leverage technology in innovative ways. It's like Phil said, video is king, and we love producing videos. We do podcasts. We have a digital publication called Serve Digizine, which includes videos as well. So we're just, it's our passion to not only tell stories, but to bring people together. And that's why we named the company NextGen Network, because we're building a network that is going to ultimately benefit the children.
I love it. I love it. So one of the first things I want you guys to know is, their mission is to collaborate and communicate in innovative ways. And so first of all, Pasonic Partners thanks you for allowing us a bit of authorship in your publication, the Digizine. If you haven't seen the Digizine, I'd like for somebody to put it in the chat, because I tell you what, it is awesome. And it is truly, that is truly a collaborate and communicate in innovative ways. I also especially love one of your new things that you've done, which is live from the trade show floor, which was, first of all, when Lincoln Yee did a little chicken tinga dance, so that little, I have that on repeat, and I'm gonna blackmail with him with his little shoulder shimmy.
You know what's funny? So he first did that on First Taste TV in Chicago, and I was in the Delta Sky Lounge yesterday, and there was chicken tinga on the serving line, and all I could think about was Lincoln.
We joke about that, but it is so true. So talk a little bit about these innovative communication tools, because I'm very familiar with them, but this is our opportunity to really amplify that message and dial people in, because it's worth the time, and it is going to innovate and inspire the way our industry thinks. And it has to. We have to come out into this new normal stronger, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, our first innovation was really all Amanda's idea, and that was First Taste TV. I had just, started working full time at NextGen. I left my previous job working in sales and child nutrition world, and the pandemic hit, and we needed to find a way to bring manufacturers, industry members, and operators together in a way that was safe, right? So Amanda had the genius idea to do it through video, and ultimately we ended up coming up with a talk show or a web show called First Taste TV. That it was almost like QVC or Home Shopping Network, and then Food Network, and then combined into one for child nutrition. So we did that. That was a success. And then I love serving, period. And I wanted to serve the state association. So we partnered up with NISNA, and we did from the show floor. And that started off filming in a conference center. We had our cameras set up, manufacturers would come in, drop their booth, talk about the products, and Amanda and I would act like a trade show attendee. And we would ask the questions that attendees would ask if they were there. That went really good, but now we're able to do that in person, because now we're at in-person trade shows. Now we do from the show floor live. And that was actually really cool, because we did it at California. That was our second time doing it, but I remember specifically we were talking to a new company, and this guy actually pulled me off of out of the alleyway because he wanted to talk to me. He's like, hey, you have cameras. Like, what's going on? Can I get interviewed? So I'm talking to this guy, and as I'm talking to him live on Facebook, doing from the show floor live, there are people from the other coast that were reaching out to me to try and get a hold of this guy. So it's all about bringing people together. And he had a really cool, innovative product. And, that district in Florida may not have ever seen this dude if they had not, taken part from the show floor live. But then we went from there to Serve Digizine, and Serve Digizine, that's our digital publication. And that includes videos. And I know for me, when I used to work in the school district, I understood that I really didn't read, or I didn't read too many ads, right? And so much of our industry as operators, you have to rely on industry members, because they're the ones providing new innovative ideas, the new recipes, like all that stuff. that we then use to feed children, right? So we need to make sure they're taken care of also. So we wanted them to make a publication that brought everyone together. So we made ads more engaging and articles more engaging. And now you could have videos in this publication. So when you turn a page, that JTM ad or that Tyson ad or whatever it is may actually start to play a video, or a podcast can be embedded in it. We could have you on there, not only just contributing an article, but maybe we could have a recap of that article, and then we could embed even this video into Serve. So lots of things that we could do to make it more engaging for, readers, industry. Then we've
I'm
done.
taking some notes. You're getting a video.
Yeah.
Next edible education. I hear you.
Let's do it.
I hear you. I got you. I really can't say enough. If you haven't checked out the Digizine, again, thankful to be an author, but I'm a reader, not just an author. Like, I look to it. One of our other, my soul sister from the West Coast, Jen McNeil and Lunch Assist, does a really cool column. So there's just, I think, again, in gratitude for the lessons and COVID silver linings that have brought our worlds together, Marlon and I often have conversations and we've never met in person. So, it's one of the realities, but certainly consider you and Jen some really close colleagues and friends that I benchmark and look to for best practices. Again, student of life, there's always something to learn, always something to give back. We know that your time is precious. We want to ask, you were a leader in school food service. So knowing the challenges, we go down the optimistic lane in Pasonic land where, we know things are hard. Last week was a little hard, jagged pill for all of us to swallow. Give us some advice. I mean, you were an operator, you've been in multiple areas of school nutrition. Tell me a little bit about, if you could give just like one little inspirational bit of advice as we look to planning for school year 22-23, maybe through a lens, maybe not rose-colored, but a little more bright, right? Where's the light? Where can you shine the light, Marlon?
Well, I feel like there's always an opportunity in any sort of challenge, right? And COVID provided tons of opportunities. I mean, I remember one of the things that the first thing I heard was that lunch ladies or challenge professionals, they can't do Zoom, or they can't use computers for professional development, all these things. And me coming from IT in my school district, I was like, that's not true. Just give them a chance and they will pick it up and they will thrive. So that was a challenge then. And the industry picked it up. Operators are Zooming all the time, every day, right? So we have new restrictions now. Things are going to get a little bit more dicey, but we will figure it out. Don't give up. Just keep moving forward. Just do what you can. All you have to do is keep doing what you can and just not give up, and we'll make it through this. And you know what? We'll probably come out better on the other side, I think.
Yeah, from some of the hardest times, the best innovation comes out. I know that's true of your efforts and what you do with Next Gen. I know in your partners and you're very, you're dialed in, my friend. So, for those of us on this call that don't know it, I hope you really do reach out and get to know Marlon and his team. And they are really in our corner to help us not only get innovative ideas and information, but to really support us. And I think we all need that feeling of support. And it takes, our teamwork effort in a village. And I'm just happy to have you on my tribe, the Good Vibe Tribe.
We're stronger together.
We are stronger together. I'm going to let you give any other things that you wanted to share, but then I have my quick 3 questions. My podcast, I always got to end it. We are foodies. Our love language is food. We create recipes.
Yes,
so I'm going to ask you something about food. So, but before I do that, anything else for the greater of the podcast kind of live launch?
Well, yeah. Well, since you're talking about collaboration, one of the things that I'm passionate about doing is starting a Next Gen professional group. And I feel that mentorship is very important. I mean, now more than ever, we are seeing a huge exodus, or we will see a huge exodus in child nutrition. Unfortunate as it is, it's probably going to happen. And there are a lot of young pros out there, young leaders and future leaders, maybe even you leaders, that need a good mentor. I mean, I know I need mentors, and you and I feel like we have a lot of mentorship. Like, I've learned so much from you in just a short time I've known you. So mentorship is important. So we're actually starting a mentorship group. It's called Next Gen Pros, and we are going to open it up to all of food service. So I'm sure primarily it's going to be child nutrition, but as we all know, a lot of the innovations that we see in child nutrition actually come from outside of child nutrition. So whether it's a chef or it's a restaurant manager, restaurant owner, something like that, we want to give everybody in food service ability to come together and to collaborate and learn together and grow together and become better together to build a better future for everybody tomorrow.
Yeah, sign me up
Yeah.
as one interested person. I love a
Yep.
good mentorship, pay it forward. So again, always a leader. So I know I told you I would give you this window of time. I don't want to take more time as you are busy doing your thing, but I have to ask you, what was your favorite school lunch back in the day? What did you pick it with?
So I went to Pineview Middle School, and they used to in Florida, Land Lakes, Florida, and they had this. We called it a McRib because it tasted just like the McDonald's McRib sandwich, and that was hands down my favorite meal ever in schools.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
What, I think all of us, as we know, it takes multiple, we're talking about tri-days today and foundational nutrition earlier on in this episode. What did you dislike as a kid and now love as an adult? Is there any food item?
Oh, easy. Brussels sprouts.
Okay. All right.
Easy.
All right. And again, I think with our kids, that challenges us to say, if something didn't work at the elementary level, keep trying and trying again and recognize as kids grow older. Last thing, okay, because we're not thinking apocalyptic times, but what is, we talk a lot about global on trend and ethnically diverse menus that really just vibe with the communities we serve. What is one food or cuisine that if you had to eat the whole rest of your life, you get to pick one, what would it be? That's
well,
hard.
I'm a little bit biased. It's not hard for me. So I'm Jamaican. So if I could only eat Jamaican food for the rest of my life, we're talking ackee and saltfish, jerk pork, jerk chicken, plantains, bammy, breadfruit, all that stuff, I'm good. I am good.
Amen. Well, you know what, Marlon, you said you learned from me. I learned from you. I think this is just a great opportunity. Thank you so much for sharing some of your time today with us. As always, for those of you who see it in the link, we're going to do a follow-up email. We're going to put all the links to all of Marlon's great stuff. And if you have any way for us to connect people with your pro group, we're happy to include that. But thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate you so much.
All right. Thank you for your time and everything that you do. And anytime you ever want to get together and do this again, we should have you on one of our podcasts next. That's what we should do. I'd love to.
I could come to Florida too. I can travel.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm up here in New York and there's this weird stuff on the ground. It's really cold and it's slippery and it's called like snow or something.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure Sarah Carlson on this call would probably fight me for the Pasonic. Like she'd be like, I'm coming too.
Yes, we have to tag team that. That's going to be a group effort for sure.
Yeah. I might even get Phil to come down. He say, we're learning. So, but thank you again so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for your time today, Marlon.
All
right,
bye.
David, we're jumping right back into this Canva. Okay, guys. So I'm going to tell you, for those of you who want to stay on, we usually try to keep this to an hour, but today's content was on fire. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go back into our slide deck. And if those of you that need to leave us, please feel free. We have our admin roundup with Sarah, which again is going to be things that we want to do. And then we're going to end with some good caught doing something good and some resources. So we're going to try to finish in the next, say, 10, 15 minutes. We'll do it rapid fire. And then again, as always, all of these resources will be sent to you as a follow-up email. This will be recorded. So if you have to jump off, we thank you for your time and we will send that as well. So without further ado, Sarah, take it away.
All right. I'm holding you too. This is recorded. So if Maureen goes to Florida, I get to go in the suitcase with her. And I'm pretty small, so I should fit very nicely in a carry-on even. So just a couple of tips and tricks as far as admin roundup and food safety go. Just encouraging everybody to start looking at inventory. We are getting really close to spring break and really those last 2.5 months of school, crazy enough to think. So just thinking through making sure that we're using those items up appropriately. I know we've all probably ordered a hodgepodge of things this year. So use those in fun ways. If you need ideas, reach out to us. Our team always loves figuring out how to use food in a different or fun way. Ending with the beginning in mind. So we tend to like our April, May menus to lead us into August, September, and sometimes even the first part of October. So just thinking through what will your menu look like? What do the kids really like this year? To Maureen's point, if they go back to having to pay for lunches, really honing in on the high participating days as you build a really strong menu to entice kids to still want to participate, even when they have to pay for the lunches next year. And again, just making sure as we kind of move out of the pandemic, which is very exciting, that we're still just wiping down high touch areas. I feel like now we're feeling a little more like we can breathe and relax, which I love. But as I've been in buildings, just noticed there isn't quite as much crazy wiping things down like we were doing when we were all worried that we were going to get sick. So we still aren't completely out of cold and flu season. So just remembering to wipe that down so nobody gets sick as we're getting really close to spring break, and we probably all want to be happy and healthy and enjoy that time off. And then just some updates. So the SNA survey results are out. We will put that in our recap email to you all so that you can take a look at that and see how other districts responded to some of the questions that were asked on that. Maureen went over the LAC updates. So most likely when those waivers expire June 30th, we will go back to traditional NSLP. If you want to serve summer meals, it's going to go back to you have to be eligible to be able to do that. So it's not a blanket where any district can offer summer meals. So you must be at least 50% free and reduced. I did get word back from ODE because I was like, what information are we going off of? Because we haven't collected data for 2 years. So you will use your school year 2019 data for free and reduced because that was the last quote unquote normal school year that we have information from. So you'll have to go back to those numbers to determine if you are eligible to offer meals this summer. I would encourage you to take the time to come up with a brief budget and choose SFSP over SSO if you are going to do summer meals. There is a much higher reimbursement for SFSP than SSO. So if you choose to do seamless summer, it is going to go back down to the pre-pandemic reimbursement rates. So just something to think about as you're making those decisions for your district. And I know a big thing is how much are we going to have to charge for lunches next year? I've been getting asked that a lot. So think about what is, when we find out what the reimbursement is for a free student, it should at least be that much, right? If they're reimbursing us that much money, it makes sense that that should be probably a really good benchmark for you to determine what your paid students will be charged for a full lunch. And know your plate costs. You might want to factor that in. If you're a school district that does a ton of local or fresh, you may want to bump that plate cost up 5 or 10 cents to be able to cover those things that you want to be able to serve to your kids. And obviously we have to factor in inflation. So again, that we are able to keep our programs running in the black as we move into next school year. Again, if you have any questions about any of that or concerns, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to help. I'll pass it back to Maureen.
All right, all right. So we did the podcast and we are super excited to have Roundup and all that fun stuff. Caught doing something good. I'm gonna pull Tina in because Tina is my front line gal. For those of you who haven't met Tina, you saw her in the video and she's probably yelling at me because she doesn't like to be on video and she doesn't like to have to be on the spotlight, but we spotlight her every day because Tina used to work for Sheffield Schools, Lake Schools rather. And she came to Pasonic Partners as somebody that used to use our services in her cafeterias. And so near and dear to our heart, she knows every aspect of how we operate and try to support schools. So she is our favorite person to talk about doing something good. So I'm going to give it over to Tina to talk a little bit about some of the fun stuff you've done.
Okay, well, hello everybody. And National School Breakfast Week was last week. And let me tell you what a positive thing. And I was so impressed to see how many schools were involved in it, especially since what we've been going through for the past 2 years. I think it sparked a little bit of excitement back into a lot of districts. Copley Middle School made hot cocoa muffins. They made bistro boxes. Fresh hot cocoa muffins were being made in the cafeteria, in the kitchens in the morning, that smell wafting through the building. How great was that? So they went out and they went above and beyond what could be expected. And look how beautiful those bistro boxes were for those kids to come through. And even the elementary schools got involved, made everything. Look how pretty those lunches are, or breakfasts are. I mean, I'm so impressed with what these ladies do on a daily basis. And another district that we went into, the next one is Woodridge. And my little Jess, Jess, she's been on all these things. We do see her. You've seen her in the video. And here's what she did last week. She came out with a whole different menu. She made smoothies for the first time. And let me just tell you, we even had our impact group was their video taping that day, in fact, and we even had to put them to work because poor Kathleen, we had her running because she did 180 some smoothies out of 207 breakfasts that were produced. And a matter of 15 to 20 minutes. So we had aftermath. We called it Smoothie Gate of 2022. Even the principal had to come down and wonder where the students were because they were late coming into class. We also had Garfield. The smoothies was a huge breakfast thing. So if you look at it, Garfield did at the high school. Every day they had a different smoothie, different flavor, wanted the kids to taste them, vote on them so that they can see what's going in on their menus. And East Cleveland also got in on the game. And let me tell you, those little kids loved it. They were doing face painting. They were playing basketball in the cafeteria. They got right in there, not to mention, here's the reason why we do what we do is participation was up that week. It was huge. You don't realize. And the one thing I want everybody to realize is as we do National School Breakfast Week and we do all these fun things, the benefit is let's keep it going. Let's not just do it for National School Breakfast Week. Think what you can do next week, what you can do maybe once a month, try something new. But participation has increased. I mean, that's the benefit of National School Breakfast Week. Every year we do it, our participation is up 40 to 50 kids each day. I mean, that's huge. So I was just very impressed with how many districts got on board. I seen Diane Hills on here. I even seen they did smoothies. They had the American Dairy Association come out and do the smoothies with them. Just very impressed with what everybody did. And it touches all of our hearts that you guys put so much heart and passion into it.
I am so proud of all of those efforts too, Tina, and I love watching you celebrate them. And I love that people like Jan Diamond join this call too, because again, for those of you who think we try to help make the impossible seem possible. And if it brings in the superintendents and the principals and they get excited about making smoothies, that makes my heart happy. Certainly those little kids in East Cleveland, that makes my heart happy because they might not get that opportunity other places. Many of you guys know, where I started, and I always give a shout out to my people that really helped me. They sometimes feel like they're my guinea pigs. I kind of go back to Hudson, and Shelly will tell me, get out of here, at Hudson High School. But this is one of the staff members' daughters is now the cook at Eastwoods, and her mom worked at the high school, and just that whole vibe of that family at Hudson. I walked into Eastwoods and she had a full-on Chipotle bar for third graders. And first of all, I stepped back and I watched in amazement because those of you who know, my youngest daughter, Addie, is a third grader. I know what she likes, and she likes choice, and she likes fresh, and she likes fresh veggies. And it just really hit home with me that, again, they chose to do that themselves, even though it was harder. And yes, one of Kathy North's, Phil will laugh, was like chicken or beef, chicken or beef. I get it. We got to coach them how to make their little choices through the line, but patience and treating our even tiniest customers and valuing them really reaps a lot of benefit. And we start with making a great impression. So some of these pictures are Talmadge Elementary with homemade pizza, Hudson, obviously, with all of the Chipotle style with even cowboy corn salsa and like trying to make it like amped up. It is just, never underestimate the try days and really influencing even our youngest consumers at the elementary when you're thinking of this, and certainly the caught doing something good moments. You guys are all troopers. It is 2:37. I'm going to go through some more resources. And again, this will all be wrapped up in an email. So certainly as we go through here, rapid fire, don't feel like you have to take notes. We're going to go through these next couple slides pretty quickly, but we end with there's always something more to learn, right? So the next slide is going to show us, there is going to be some opportunities to be able to continue to work with American Dairy Association for an immersion blender. So when you think about making those smoothies, that is going to be the king way to make them successfully in batch and be able to create some cool recipes. So we're hoping to have more information soon about American Dairy grant opportunity for you to get yourself an industrial size immersion blender and try some smoothies yourself. Next slide is going to talk a little bit about, we gave her a shout out on our podcast live. Jen McNeil from Lunch Assist is doing some really cool things, a community call once a month. I stole this idea from her. Many of you, when we start going back to paid lunch and offer versus serve, have asked us questions about maintaining a sustainability plan, really like what, eco-friendly composting. I mean, we've done it all pre-pandemic. We want to incite some conversation about really utilizing the resources that are available free, about talking about guides to share tables again in and thinking about next year, and certainly stopping food waste and working through adding that conversation to the table when you talk about the value perception of what your community sees the food lunch program. This is a passion project of my heart. So local lessons for growing minds. Phil, you're going to love this. Feed Our Future is a nonprofit that I am a founding board member out of the Cuyahoga County Board of Health. Spice Field Kitchen is right here in the Riverview, like Cuyahoga Valley National Park. They have created a series of lessons that are geared towards students and teachers interacting with not only content about local farm to school efforts, but a Pasonic Partner recipe that your cafeteria and your families can use. So talk again about making that connection between what happens in schools and how we promote that learning as it goes home with students. The lessons are interactive. There's videos. So I'm super excited to be a part of this. Was funded by a USDA Farm to School grant. And it is just an awesome group of people that are really invested in school gardens, farm to school programs, bringing best harvest items to schools, but also feeding and nurturing their minds and lessons learned along the way. Some more information. We talk about, celebrating a world of flavors this National Nutrition Month. And so it's not too late to continue to celebrate diversity in your menus. This particular memo really does speak to what the ICN has created relative to the world of flavors and really investigating sample cycle menus with different types of recipes, again, for both CACFP and NSLP programs. Pasonic's got your back. A whole chapter of that's coming out in the first edition of our cookbook, and again in the second, a chapter devoted to really a nod to diversity, equity, and inclusion, not only in your school community, but in your school menu. I think this is coming up on the last one. I can't say thank you enough. You guys have stayed through. We went about 10 minutes over. I think 10 minutes well spent for those of you who have stayed with us. Again, I'm going to let anybody unmute. Phil has stayed on. Phil, I'm just going to thank you again. I'm greatly humbled. I think we should podcast, man, because I missed you. I think we got to catch up. Awesome. Anybody else, please feel free to unmute. We will answer any questions we can. If you are interested, there's lots of resources being dumped in the chat. And again, you will get an inclusive roundup of all of these resources in our follow-up email. From the bottom of our team, Pasonic Heart, to yours, we value you, and we are proud to serve alongside of you in a mission that we all feel really near and dear to our hearts. Wholesome meals to fuel healthy lives, and to help our generation of kids in school be the best learners they can be. So again, thank you. I think with that, if there aren't any questions, peace and love, and go outside. It's sunny in Cleveland. So if Marlon's still on, we got some sun here and the snow is melted. So thank you all.
Thank you.